Hey, what's up, everyone? Jazz Borganzo here. What's next? Two stories today. Yesterday morning, I did a I think I'm going to be doing a weekly of 3 stories you may or may have not missed. But in this case, one story has hit within the last 24 hours, and then you have another story that's been out for a few days now. A number of people chimed in about it. I just thought that I would give you my 2 cents. Let's take a look. Story number 1 comes out of Breitbart. Nolte, Gal Gadot ripped apart by entertainment media for pro-Israel comments. Like I said, a number of people in social media have already chimed in regarding this on YouTube and BitChute and Odyssey, Rumble, you name it. Everybody from Geeks and Gamers to Drunk 3PO. And of course, we're talking about basically cancellation by the woke crowd. And sadly, she's afraid that she will be canceled like one Gina Carano. Yes, that Gina Carano, formerly of Disney, supposedly in talks with Disney again, who recently signed with Ben Shapiro in regards to doing a project movie for him, and also is in the works with a number of projects on her own. But let's talk about Gal Gadot and how stupid this whole thing is. But then again, it is the woke crowd after all. It's the twatter mob. So here we go. This is a story about how a fascist entertainment media turned a non-story into an attack on Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot, who I'm going to defend, even though she refuses to return my calls and letters and won't answer her door. Gal Gadot was born in Israel, served in the Israeli army, loves her homeland, and now that her homeland is under a prolonged Joe Biden-approved terrorist attack on its civilians at the hands of fascist barbarians, she tweeted out a perfectly anodyne note of support that was about as controversial as someone saying they enjoy the fresh air and sunshine. Quote, "My heart breaks. My country's at war. I worry for my family, my friends. I worry for my people. This is a vicious cycle that has been going on far too long. Israel deserves to live as a free and safe nation. Our neighbors deserve the same. I pray for the victims and their families. I pray for the unimaginable hostility to end. I pray for our leaders to find solution so we can live side by side in peace. I pray for better days." End quote. Take that in. You can apply that to anything. You can apply that. If this were not Gal Gadot, if this were Joe Schmo down the street saying, "I pray that my country's at war," Poland, Russia, Afghanistan, 9/11, you wouldn't think of anything different. Would you? On her replies, and I say naturally because so effing what? If you publish something pro-Israel on social media, you're going to be attacked. You don't have to be Gal Gadot. Correct. You can be anybody. You can be a nobody like me. Whenever I tweet something in support of Israel, I also get set on Twitter blast, which is a long way from saying this is not a story, and it's really not. Gal Gadot expressing support for Israel and receiving mean replies is not a story anymore. Then man tosses something in the air and it falls back to the ground. The only thing that would have made this story, as if my future wife was hit with criticism by, say, one of her fellow actors from the DC franchise, that kind of thing. But that's not what happened. Like every other human being on the planet, Gadot was attacked by the Twitter woke Nazi mobs. But because the entertainment media are now infested with the same woke Nazi nobodies, this non-story was twisted into a story critical of Gadot. This is the trash that came after. The far left Deadline, quote, "Gal Gadot disables comments on controversial tweet after backlash. There's nothing controversial about the statement, but Deadline wants to put the blame on her. Shocking." Far left Hollywood Reporter attacked Gadot in a way of lies of omission. Gadot's pro-peace, respect both sides, sound fairly benign, but some took issue with the actress using the friendly term neighbors. amid the rocket firing conflict and supporting Israel at all. Gadot'S served 2 years as a soldier in Israeli Defense Forces, which is mandatory for all Israeli citizens over the age of 18. Facts. Something that has likewise been made a point of contention. Now, how these lying Hollywood reporter fascists fail to point out that Hamas is a terrorist group, targeting Israeli citizens every single day. There are things going on that we don't see because it doesn't hit this kind of magnitude. Israelis are not targeting civilians. Facts. They are warning civilians to get out of the way. And 3, Hamas terrorists started this war. Facts. And once again, facts matter. The woke now. My thoughts. The fact of the matter is Gal Gadot is very proud of her country. She loves her country very much. She loves her people. Her family is there. She's very concerned. She's very worried with everything going on. And of course, just an update, Joe Dementia has stepped in and said, well, you two, you need to stop, to the detriment of the Democrats, even though 28 Democrats signed on to call for a ceasefire because they're just good people that way. But in regards to Gadot, she doesn't deserve this. Just like Gina Carano didn't deserve to be canceled and fired from Disney because she had opinions, as Gal Gadot has opinions. But yet the twatter mob hates everything in regards to this country and its relationship with Israel. And of course, if you mention Israel in any kind of positive light, you are a bigot towards the Palestinians. Even though Palestinians have no claim on the country whatsoever, since Israel fought for it, won it, and then became a state, a national state, and claimed its sovereignty in 1948. Once again, it's called facts. Twatter mob don't like facts. It's all about their feelings. It's about my feelings. And that is what the twatter mob is. But this comes out of the blaze. And this is one CNN's Chris, don't call me Fredo, Cuomo, melts down saying pro-lifers hate science. Oh, this is going to be fun. Only to cater to the far-right white fright vote. Yes, all those nasty white supremes have shown their ugly heads again. But let's read. In a bizarre and frenzied rant Monday evening, CNN's anchor Chris Fredo Cuomo blasted pro-life Americans as racist haters of science. Science, not science. Over their attempts to challenge the legal precedents behind abortion rights established in the landmark case of Roe v. Wade, which has led to the death of almost 63 million innocent babies. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, killed off pretty much a generation of lawyers, doctors, philanthropists, maybe even president. But my body, my choice. Cuomo obviously irked by the Supreme Court's decision to hear a Mississippi case, which is landmark itself for the Supreme Court. For the first time in 27 years, they will hear a case that could upend Roe v. Wade. Lord, let it be. This fall, which could result in a major rollback of abortion rights, vented on its primetime show that conservative challenges to abortion laws are not really about science, but are merely about political attacks to divide the people and distract from the real policy reform. The case set for consideration is Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health Organization. Concerns a 2018 abortion law passed in Mississippi that bans abortion after 15 weeks, which critics say is before the fetus becomes viable or is able to survive outside the womb. Science would challenge that, but in the state's petition to the court, Mississippi's Attorney General Lynn Finch Fitch, argued, it's well past time for the court to revisit the wisdom of the viability of the bright line rule. A legitimate question to be posed, one would think, but Cuomo saw it differently. Quote, you would think that we would have impaneled experts on a special commission by now to see what the science says, right? But we don't seem to have that intellectual curiosity about this issue. Cuomo said, because it's really not about science, it's about culture, a culture war, a political lever to be used as a distraction from policy and solving problems. To allow people to get up in their religion and their righteousness, he continued. It's not about science or consensus. It's about dividing the lines, legislating to the far right, white fright vote. Yes, right. Those whiteies, those white supremes, flooding the zone with 536 bills that abridge a woman's right to control her own body in 46 states. It's just like our voting rights in one way. Cuomo strangely charged, comparing the efforts to limit abortions to Republicans' state voting initiative in places like Georgia to correct the issues of the 2020 debacle. Characterized by progressives as racist, the new Jim Crow. During the rant, Cuomo even seemed to push back against his own perspective by arguing that the science may be on the side of the pro-life movement. He noted, medical capabilities may be moving to the point of viability well short of what was assumed to be in 73 with Roe v. Wade, a point which was, in fact, elucidated in Mississippi's petition to the Supreme Court. My thoughts. Let's make this clear. The fact is that abortion is murder. Just me. My opinion. My show. There you go. But of course, the left is not about opinions. It's all about my feelings. Well, my feelings is based on facts. And the facts is that creation begins at conception. The second the egg and the sperm, they meet. Hello, cells are divided. Things happen. Babies formed. Not just based on faith, but also actual science. Not science. But Cuomo doesn't feel that way. Fredo has to get triggered by millions of Americans in this country who feel the same way I do. Because it's based on science and their faith. You know, the most innocent of us who can't protect themselves have to have a voice. They are the voiceless. We have to be their voice. And I am thankful that the Supreme Court is actually looking at this, because eventually this was going to happen. Whether it was going to be now, whether it was going to be later, it was eventually going to happen, that a case like this was going to make its way to the Supreme Court. Now, of course, those on the left who feared that with Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court lineup, that Roe v. Wade was eventually going to fall. Now, we don't know. We don't know if this is going to be powerful enough to take down Roe v. Wade, which has been basically ingrained into the American psyche since 1973. And I said earlier, to the tune of 63 plus million deaths of innocents in this country. More so than any war that we've ever been involved with. More so than any war that we've ever fought in. But the left doesn't give a damn. As long as it's my body, my choice. But yet, they want to talk about based on the science, but yet a man can become a woman and woman become a man, not based on science, because it's all relative. Everything's a construct. But facts And with that being said, I'm Jazz Gonzo. This is what's next. You want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share it, subscribe it, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.